Good morning. Today we'll be studying the third chapter of Hilchot Terumot. This chapter will deal with exactly how the terumah is done. Hilchot Terumot Perek Gimel Halacha Aleph. Terumah gedola en la shi'ur min haTorah shene'emar reshit deganecha kol shehu. Terumah gedola has no minimum amount from the Torah, as the Torah says, reshit deganecha, the beginnings of your produce, implying that any amount is sufficient, again, from the Torah in regards to terumah gedola. Afilu hita ahat poteret et hakeri. Even one grain of produce exempts the entire pile from terumah gedola. Ulachat hidla lo yafrish ella kashi'ur shenatnu hachamim. However, from the outset, a person should, and it is strongly encouraged to separate and designate terumah to the amounts that Chachamim gave, and we'll see that in the next halacha. Ubazeman hazeh, but nowadays, shehi omedet lisrefa mipnei hatum'ah. Nowadays, terumah is to be burned because of our tum'ah status, that terumah may only be eaten b'tahara, and since today all of us are considered tum'at met, terumah can't be eaten pretty much by anybody. So since, again, nowadays the terumah is to be burned because of our tum'ah status, from the get-go, one should separate a very minimal amount because we don't want to waste the terumah, and if you do to waste the produce, and if you do terumah according to the shiurim that Chachamim gave, it's to be burned. So nowadays, in order not to waste the produce, you can separate any amount for terumah gedola. Halacha bet v'kama hi here, yes, v'kama hi she'ura shenatnu Chachamim, and what exactly are the amounts that Chachamim gave in regards to terumah gedola? Ayin yafa echad me'arba'im, והבינונית אחד מ-50, ועין רעה אחד מ-60, ולא יפחות מאחד מ-60. Chachamim gave three amounts. A very generous amount is 1 out of 40, a middle amount is 1 out of 50, and a stingy amount is 1 out of 60. And Chachamim said that one should not give less than 1 out of 60. Halacha bet. Kol terumah she'en hakohanim makpidin aleha, kegon terumat heharuvin vehakelesin, nitelet dechatechila echad mishishim. Any terumah and any produce that the kohanim are not strict about and don't really care about so much. For example, terumah from carob trees and kelesim are a type of fig. From the get-go, one should separate only 1 out of 60 because, again, it's not something that the kohanim really want. And the following types of produce are to be 1 out of 60 is to be taken out of them for terumah gedola. Terumat gidule terumah. Terumah that is grown out of seeds from terumah, and since they gidule terumat gidule terumah. Terumah that is grown out of seeds that were terumah, and the seeds of the terumah grew into plants, and anything that grew is hayav beterumah, but it has a special type of status, even for kohanim, that it can be eaten even for someone whose hands are tameh. Ve'eruve terumah, and a mixture of terumah, so a mixture with terumah with tevel. This is also called meduma. Utruma teme'ah shehayetah hatum'ah be'ones o bishgaga, also terumah teme'ah that became tameh, whether it be be'ones or bishgaga, whether it be it became terumah it became tameh intentionally or accidentally. Uturumat ha'ekdesh, and terumah of hekdesh. Uturumat chutz ha'la'aretz, and terumah of outside of Eretz Yisrael. Uturumat haketzach, also terumah of fennel flour, v'hakelesim, and acorns. Kelesim are acorns, or again that type of fig that I mentioned. Gimzoyot, which is also a type of fig. That turmosin, which is lupine. Usorim adumiyot, and red barley. וכיוצא בהן, and anything of that sort, ופירות עציץ שאינו נקוב, and plants grown in a perforated pot. And the reason for this is for the atzit nakuv she'eno nakuv is because the fruits out of an atzit she'eno nakuv are very, very little, and kohanim don't really want the fruit. Now, atzit she'eno nakuv is a plant that has a type of perforation at the bottom in order to let the water out on the ground. And terumah and ma'aser, from whatever is grown out of this, is takanat hachamim, and again, since the fruits from an atzit she'eno nakuv are very minimal, hachamim didn't, the kohanim don't really want it. V'chen ha'pitropin keshetormim perot yetumim tormim echad mishishim. So too, apitromin are those who supervise the assets of orphans. When giving terumah, only 1/60th is taken because the kohanim don't really want to take the assets and the produce of orphans. This is actually yes, this is according to the commentary of the Radba. So of all of these, 1/60th should be taken for terumah gedola. Halacha Gimel. En tormin terumah zo lo b'midah velo b'mishkal velo b'minyan, לפי שלא נאמר בשיעור, אלא עומד ומפריש בדעתו כמו אחד מחמישים. When measuring and giving the terumah, it should not be done by measuring by volume, nor by weight, nor by a number or amount. Since the Torah did not give an amount, rather a person should estimate and try his best to take out around 1 out of 50. Aval torem hu et hamadud ve'et hashakud ve'et hamanui. But if one did in fact set aside terumah that was already weighed or measured or counted, yes, he must give the correct amount, since again you already measured. You have to give the right amount. And you also shouldn't donate and give the terumah with a basket that however much is in the basket is pretty much known to everybody. So if you have a basket that everyone knows is 5 pounds or holds X amount of fruits, you should not set aside terumah with that type of basket. But you can use the basket to measure half or a third of produce, but not the entire basket, because again, everyone knows, because it's pretty much known exactly how much you're donating, and it's not and you're not estimating like we said you should. And you can't do this, what we said about the basket with a se'ah, we said about the basket is that again you can use it to measure half the produce, so you can't measure half the produce with the basket of a se'ah, because half a se'ah is used as a measure on its own. Halacha Dalid. Hamarbe bitruma. Anyone who gave excess amount of terumah. Ho'il v'shiyer miksat hulin harezo terumah. Provided he left some hulin, that excess is terumah. Aval im amar kol haperot ha'elu terumah lo amar klum. But if he says all of these fruits are terumah, it's as if he didn't really say anything, because as we mentioned before, the Torah says reshit deganecha. So since terumah is called the reshit, you can't have the entire produce as terumah, and so there's no reshit if there isn't what to be left over of the produce, and there isn't really a reshit if you say that everything is terumah. Hamitkaven litrom ehad me'asara. Someone who intends to donate 1 out of 10. Ve'alta beyado ehad mishishim, and he came up with 1 out of 60. So someone who intended to take out 10%, and he came up with 1.6%. Terumato teruma, his teruma is considered a teruma. מתכוון לתרום אחד מ-60, ועלתה בידו אחד מ-50, אינה teruma. But if he intended to give 1 out of 60 or 1.6%, and he came up with 2%, which is 1 out of 50, it is not considered teruma. And the difference between the two situations is that you intended to take out more than you actually took out in the first case. So in the first case, you intended to take out 10%, and you only came up with 1.6%, which 1.6 is included in the 10 that you intended to give. But in the second case, since you only intended to give 1.6%, ehad mishishim, and you came up with more, so you didn't originally intend for that excess of 0.4% to be teruma. Therefore, whatever you took out, the 2%, while you intended for it to be 1.6%, is not teruma. Halacha vav. Hamafrish teruma ve'alta biyado afilu ehad me'esrim terumato teruma. If you took out teruma and you didn't have an amount in mind, and you took out and you ended up coming out with 1 out of 20, it is considered teruma. תרם ועלתה בידו אחד מ-60 וחזר והוסיף לשם תרומה, אותה התוספת חייבת במעשרות, ומפריש ממנה הכהן המעשרות ואחר כך יאכלנו. If you donated and you came up with 1 out of 60 and you added more for teruma, that addition is obligated in ma'asrot, and you must separate the ma'asrot to the kohen, and only after can the kohen eat it, because the tosefet, because you already, yes, because 1 out of, even though you took out 1 out of 60 and you wanted to add more, you fulfilled what Chachamim said, and you fulfilled the minimum amount. And since you fulfilled the minimum amount, the rest of the produce is exempt from teruma, but is obligated for ma'asrot. Therefore, that addition that is not considered like teruma, but ma'asrot must be taken out of it. Karam ve'alta biyado ehad mishishim ve'ahat. If you set aside and you came up with 1 out of 61, harezo teruma, it is considered teruma, even though you gave less than what Chachamim mandated. Ve'yachzor ve'yitrom pam sheniya kedei lehashlim hashiur shebedato, but you have to go back a second time and complete the shiur that you should have had, which is 1 out of 60. And this addition that you have to take out and add, you may separate it by weight or by measure or by number. But you can only separate and take out the additional amount that you have to take out, because again, you donated 1 out of 61, and you should have done 1 out of 60. So you can only take the addition out of produce that you took out the teruma that you originally did. So again, you have you did teruma of 1 out of 60 on a certain pile of produce, and so you need to give a little bit more in order to get to the shiur that Chachamim said, which is 1 out of 60. It's not 1 out of 61 which you gave. So that additional amount that you have to give must be taken out of the produce that you originally took the 1 out of 61. Halacha zayin. Hamafrish mikesat hateruma. Oto hamiktzat eno teruma. Anyone who only gave part of the teruma, so let's say you had a pile of produce and you took out, let's say, I don't know, 1 out of 2 out of 60, or 1 out of 90, whatever amount it is, and you only gave part of the teruma. Otoha miktzat and no teruma. That amount that part of the teruma that you separated is not considered teruma. Varehu keholek hakeri, and it's regarded as produce that is still in the pile. Ve'afa piken tzarich lafrish teruma oto. Nevertheless, since you separated it for teruma, that has to be part of the teruma you give. Again, since you separated it, and you could own, and that amount, yes, and it's because you designated that part as teruma, and you can't use that amount to be mafrish to exempt other piles of teruma. Hifrish miktsat teruma mikeri ze, ומקצת תרומה קרי אחר ממנו, הרי זה לא יתרום מזה על זה. If you separated teruma out of one pile, and then you separated teruma out of another pile of the same produce, of another pile, yes, but the same produce, you cannot donate one in place of the other. So since, again, here you separated teruma out of one pile, and then you have another pile. So the produce that you separated out of that one pile cannot be used in place of that other pile, even though it's the mehila. 1 second. Yeah, so you can't give teruma, that one teruma, for both piles. Ha'omer halacha het. Ha'omer terumat hakeri hazeh letocho. If someone says that part of this pile is teruma, im amar bitzono o bidromo karashem vehayav lafish mimenu terumato. If he says and specifies it is in the north side or the south side, he must separate teruma from that portion. But if he didn't designate a location, it's as if he didn't say anything. Amar teruma hakeri hazeh ve'akeri. Amar terumat hakeri hazeh ve'akeri hazeh bazeh. מקום שנסתיימה תרומתו של הראשון, שם נסתיימה תרומתו של השני. So let's say you have two piles, and you say that the teruma of this pile and this pile is in it. So again, you have pile. So you say, yeah, you have two piles. You say and you say pile A's teruma is in pile B, and piles B teruma is in it. Whenever the teruma of A ends, that is where the teruma of B ends as well. So, and when you say pile A's teruma is in pile B, and pile B's teruma is in it, basically we understand you to say as if you're saying we understand you to say that the two terumot are next to each other. So wherever the teruma of pile A ends, that's where the teruma of pile B ends as well. Halacha Yod. Terumat Ma'aser. Now we move from the topic of Teruma Gedula to Terumat Ma'aser. Terumat Ma'aser. En mafrishin oto be'omed. Terumat Ma'aser, in contrast to Teruma Gedula, may not be separated by estimation. Ella medakdek beshi'urah va'afilu bazeman hazeh she'areh shi'urah meforash b'torah. Rather, one must be very precise with the amount, even nowadays, since its measure is given specifically in the Torah. The Torah says Ma'aser minham Ma'aser, which is 10% of the 10% that the Levi receives. Davar, yes. Mehila. Davar shedarko lehimaded moded. Things that are typically measured should be measured. V'davar hanishkal shokel, and items that are weighed are to be weighed. V'davar she'efshar limnoto moneh, and items that are to be counted, that are typically counted, should be counted. Haya efshar limnoto ulshoklo ulmoddo. If you have produce that can be counted or weighed or measured, המונה משובח והמודד משובח ממנו והשוקל משובח משניהם. Counting that type of produce is praiseworthy, but someone who measures that produce is even more praiseworthy than him. But someone who weighs the produce is more praiseworthy than both of them. And the reason for this is because when you weigh the produce, it's different from you counting. So let's say if you count the produce, you can have larger fruits or smaller fruits. But when you weigh the produce, there is one measure, and also if you yes, there is one. It's one weight, as opposed to, again, if you count it, which counting it would be counting it. You have various sizes of fruits, and when you weigh it, there's one weight that you have to give, and that's why hashokel is mishubah mishnehem. Halacha yod bet mitzvat הלכה יוד, הלכה יוד. מצוות תרומת מעשר שיפריש אותה בן לוי ממעשרו, שנאמר כי תיקחו מאת בני ישראל. The mitzvah of terumat maaser is that the Levi separates the maaser from whatever the Israel gives him. As the Torah says, when the Leviim take the maaser from Bnei Israel, they must separate the terumat maaser and give it to the Kohanim. ויש לישראל להפריש אותה וליתנה לכהן. וייתן המעשר ללוי אחר שיפריש ממנו תרומתו שהיא מעשר מן המעשר. But a regular Yehudi has the ability to separate the terumat maaser, give it directly to the Kohen, and then give the maaser to the Levi after the terumah was separated from it, which is maaser min maaser. Halacha yod aleph. Israel sheifrish maaser rishon keshehu shibolim. A Jew who separated maaser rishon while it was shibolim. The status of shibolim basically means after it is reaped, but before it is threshed. As Harambam now explains, Kodem shiyadush v'yafrish teruma gedola, before it is threshed and separated for teruma gedola, untanola Levi, and it was given to the Levi. So again, Israel, a Jew that separated maaser rishon while it still hasn't been threshed, but separated teruma gedola and gives it to the Levi, and halevi hayav le'afrish mimeno teruma gedola achar sheyedushenu. The Levi is not obligated to give teruma gedola until the shibolim are threshed. Ela terumat maaser bilvad, rather he only has to give terumat maaser. Aval imdash Yisrael v'hifrisha maaser min hadagan kodem sheyafrish teruma gedola untano Levi hayav halevi le'afrish mimeno teruma gedola u'terumat maaser. מאחר שנעשה דגן יתחייב בתרומה גדולה שנאמר ראשית דגנך. However, if the Jew threshed the wheat and he separated maaser from the produce before he separated teruma gedola and gave it to the Levi must take out and separate teruma gedola and terumat maaser, since after the produce was made into grain, it was now liable for teruma gedola. As the Torah says, reshit deganecha, the first of your dagan, the first of your grains, applying after it is threshed. Halacha yod bet ben Levi Shelakach maaser shibolim, a Levi who took maaser from shibolim. Lo yiten terumato lakohen shibolim. You should not give the teruma to the kohen as shibolim. Ela konsinoto ladush velizrot velitin lo maaser min hadagan. Rather, he must thresh and winnow the shibolim and then give maaser min maaser from the grains. Ve'eno hayav litin lo maaser hateven o hayetza. But he doesn't have to give maaser for the straw and the branches after you prior to him threshing it. So again, maaser is only taken out of the grains. ואם הפריש תרומת המעשר שיבולים כמו שנתנו לו, הרי זה קוטש ונותן לכהן את הזרע ואת התבן. However, if he separated terumat maaser from the shibolim as they were given to him, he must pound and thresh it and give the kohen teruma out of the zera and out of the tevin. And why is the Levi penalized and made to pound and thresh it? Since the Levi took the maaser while it was shibolim and exempted it from teruma gedola, that's why we have the Levi thresh the shibolim and only then give it to the kohen. Halacha yud gimel. Ben Yisrael she'amar ללוי, הבא, מעשר לך בידי. אין חוששים לתרומת מעשר שבו, שהרי אביו הפריש תרומתו, A Jew who tells a Levi, my father told me that I owe you ma'aser. We don't suspect that that terumat ma'aser is in this ma'aser, since the father, we assume that the father already separated the terumah, and that's why he told his son, give this ma'aser to the Levi. However, if the Jew tells the Levi, but if the son tells the Levi, my father told me that I owe you a kor of maaser, we suspect for terumat maaser that is in it, because the father gave him the exact amount, and we know that you only have, yes, since the father gave an exact amount, it's a hint to the Levi that the Levi has to take out maaser, terumat maaser, out of whatever amount the Yisrael gives him. Halacha Yodaled Terumat Maaser Shaya Bah Ehad Mishemona Basheminit. Terumat Maaser that had 1/8 out of 1/8, which is 1/60th. Molicha LaKohen must be given to the Kohen. Pachot Mikan Eno Metapel Bah Leholicha. Less than 1 out of 64 of Terumat Maaser is considered insignificant, and you don't have to worry about giving it to the Kohen. Ella Mashlicha Ba'ur Vesorfa. Rather, you can take it and throw it in the fire and burn it. Uvayayin uvashemen afilu kol shehu molichah lakohen. However, in regards to wine and oil, even any amount, even a very small and seemingly insignificant amount, must be given to the kohen. This is provided that the terumat maaser, that again is of yain and shemen, is terumat maaser, definitely terumat maaser, and it is also tehora. אבל אם הייתה טמאה, או שהייתה שלדית דמאי, אם אין בה כשיעור, אינו מטפל בה אלא שורפה. However, if the terumat maaser was tameh, or it was safek maaser, that's demai, that yes, that demai must, that terumat maaser must be taken out misafek. And again, yes, im en ba kashiur, if it is not 1 out of 164, you don't need to give it to the kohen. Rather, you can simply burn it. Yes, and again, this is in regards to the yain and shemen. So again, just to sum up this halacha, if you have terumat maaser that is less than 1 out of 64, it does not need to be given to the kohen. It is considered insignificant, and this is provided that it is not yain and shemen. Yain and shemen, even a very, very small amount, less than 1/64th, must be given to the kohen. This is provided that the yain and the shemen is definitely terumat maaser and is tahor. However, if it is not, it may be burned, and you don't have to give it to the kohen. Halacha Tedvav. En tormin teruma gedola ela min hamukaf. Teruma gedola should only be given from the same area of the produce that it is in. Ketzad, how so? Hayu lo 50 se'ah bevayit zeh, ו50 se'ah bevayit acher. לא יפריש מאחד מהן שתי שאין על המאה, שנמצא מפריש ממקום על מקום אחר. If you had 2 piles of 50 se'ah each in 2 different houses, you should not take 2 out of 100 out of 1 pile that is in 1 house, since effectively what you're doing is being mafrish on 2 different places and 2 different piles of produce. But if you violated this and you did in fact take teruma shalomina mukaf from piles of produce that are not in the same area, one in place of the other, the teruma is considered teruma. This is provided that it is items that are secure. However, if one was carrying jugs or jars of wine or oil, and you saw that they were going to break, and you say, before they break, that, oh, these are terumah for fruits that are in my house, we consider as if you didn't say anything and your words have no effect. הלכה ט"ז פירות המפוזרים בתוך הבית או שתי מגורות שבבית אחד תורם מין אחד על הכל. Now, qualifier to what we just said, that if you have fruits that are scattered in your house, so under the same roof, or if you have in the same house two different storage places, you can separate terumah you can't separate one terumah for all of the produce, even though they're in two separate places, but they're under the same roof. שקי תבואה ועיגולי דבלה וחביות של גרות, אם היו בהקפה אחת, תורמין מאחד על הכל. If you had bags of produce or round cakes of pressed figs or barrels of dried figs, if they were in the same area, you can take out terumah, one terumah from one place for all the produce. Haviyot shel yain, in regards to barrels of wine, ad shelo satam et pihen torem me'ehad al hakol. So long, in regards to barrels of wine, so long that the opening isn't sealed, you can take terumah out of one part for the entire for all the barrels that are in the area. Because while the bottles are opened, it is considered as if they're all one entity. So that's why you can while the bottles haven't been sealed yet, you can take terumah from one barrel for all of the barrels. But once you seal the barrels, you must take terumah out of each individual barrel. Halacha Yod Zayin. Haya melaket gape yarak umaniach bagina. If you were collecting leaves of vegetables and you left them in the gina, torem me'ehad alakol. You can separate one terumah. You can separate terumah just on one for all the leaves. Or another way you can read this is if you had bundles of types of vegetables and you left them in the gina, you can take out terumah for one terumah from just that for the entire gina, despite the fact that the gina doesn't have a gader or a roof, doesn't have a fence or a roof, since we're talking about yes. Yes, so you only need to do terumah me'ehad alakol. Hevi min ehad benehem. If you had two bundles of if you had three bundles of produce and you have two bundles of produce on the outside and then you have one bundle in between them of a different kind, torem mikol ehad ve'ehad, you must give terumah for each individual bundle on its own. Since you had the different type of produce separating between the two bundles of the same type of produce, it's considered to be two different places. If you had many types of produce in one basket, many types of gape yarak in one basket, keruv milemata or churuv milemata umin aher ba'emtza lo yitrom min ha'elyon al hatachton. If again you had many types of vegetables, gape yarak in a basket, bundles of vegetables in a basket, and you had cabbage on top, cabbage on the bottom, and another type in between them, you cannot separate you can't do terumah for the whole cabbage. Rather, you have to separate terumah for each cabbage, respectively, on the top and on the bottom separately. If you moved 5 piles that were next to each other to the storage house, you can separate from one of the piles for all 5. This is provided that the threshing is still going on. And ikar hagoren kayam torem mikol ehad ve'ehad. If the threshing, however, is finished and the piles aren't really there anymore, you have to do terumah for each and every individual pile that was. Halacha yod het. Terumat maaser mafrishin ota shelo min hamukaf. In regards to terumat maaser as opposed to terumah gedolah, you don't need to. You can separate terumat maaser for produce that isn't really in the same place, as opposed to terumah gedolah that you have to do it, as we said, produce that you can only separate terumah gedolah from produce that is in the same area. But again, Terumot Maaser mafrishin ota shelo min hamukaf. Shene'emar mikol maaserotechem tarimu. From all of the maaser, you have to separate Terumot Maaser. Afilu maaser ehad bimdina zo, maaser acher bimdina acheret, mafrish terumah ahad ala kol. Even if you had one pile of produce in one city, another pile of produce from another city, you can take Terumot Maaser from one set of produce and for both sets of produce. Again, so you don't, so for Terumat Maaser, you don't need to, the produce doesn't have to be in the same place in order for you to take Terumat for both of them. Talmidei Chachamim en tormim ela min hamukav va'afilu Terumat Maaser. But Talmidei Chachamim, the students of the sages, would only take out Terumat Maaser from produce that is adjacent to each other, even in regards to Terumat Maaser, and they were strict with themselves in order for them not to mix up Terumah Gedolah with Terumat Maaser. Halacha Kaf Aleph. Halacha Yotet. Ben Levi, shaya lo Maaser Rishon, shelo nitela mimenu Terumato. A Levi who had Maaser Rishon, that Terumat, that his Terum, yes, that Terumat Maaser was not taken yet from it, which would effectively make it tevel. And he left that portion to be mafrish teruma for the other produce. And the Maaser Rishon is, yes, the Maaser Rishon is tevel, as we mentioned. What he did is done. Shne'emar ki et maaser b'nei Yisrael asher yarimu l'Adonai melamed shehu oseh et kulo teruma le'acher. What he did is pretty much done, as the Torah says, that the maaser that is taken from Bnei Yisrael, that they separate for God, meaning they designate all of it as teruma for other produce. Again, so you have a Levi who maaser rishon was given to him, but but yes, Terumat Maaser was not yet taken from it. So what did the Levi do? He left it to be mafrish other produce on it, and this produce is still, in this original produce that was separated, again, the Terumat Maaser wasn't taken from it, is considered tevel. So what he did is pretty much done, since the Levi has the right to designate all of it as teruma for other produce. הפריש ממנו תרומת מעשר תחילה, ואחר כך הניחו להיות מפריש עליו והולך, עד שיעשה כולו תרומת מעשר ויתננה לכהן, לא עשה כלום, שנאמר את מקדשו ממנו, בזמן שקודשה בתוכו, עושה אותה תרומה לאחרים. אין קדושה בתוכו, אינו עושה אותה תרומה לאחרים. If the Levi, however, takes Maaser Rishon first, and then leaves it to be mafrish terumat maaser for it, and then give it to the kohen, he did not effectively do anything, since the Torah says even the designated part, ek mikdesho mimenu, meaning the terumat maaser that has a part of hekdesh in it, is to be given to the kohen. Yes. So the entire thing is to be given to, since it has some type of hekdesh status, since it's to be given to the kohen, the entire thing is considered terumat maaser, not regular hekdesh status in it. Oseoto teruma le'acharim, effectively makes the entire thing teruma for others. namely for the Kohen, while kadashav in it, he cannot make it teruma for others. וכן המניח פירות, הלכה קבלה, וכן המניח פירות להיות מפריש עליהן תרומה גדולה. So to someone who leaves פירות in order to be מפריש תרומה גדולה for it, צריך שיהיו טבולין לתרומה. The produce must be produce that תרומה and מעשר hasn't yet been separated from it. ואם הניחן להיות מפריש עליהן מעשר, צריך שיהיו טבולין למעשר. But if he left it to be left for מעשר, it must be produce that מעשר may actually be taken out from it. הלכה כ"ב, כשמפריש תרומות ומעשרות. When one takes out תרומות ומעשרות, מפרישין אותן על הסדר. It must be taken out in order. כיצד? How so? מפריש ביקורים תחילה לכל. First, ביקורים must be taken out of all of the produce. ואחר כך תרומה גדולה. Then תרומה גדולה must be separated. מעשר ראשון, then מעשר ראשון. ואחר כך מעשר שני או מעשר עני. And then מעשר שני and מעשר עני must be given. מקדים שני לראשון and gives מעשר שני before תרומה או ביקורים, or if he gave תרומה before giving ביקורים, אבל ושעבר לא תעשה מה שעשה עשוי. Even though he violated a מצוות לא תעשה, whatever he did is considered done. ומניין שהוא בלא תעשה, הלכה כ"ג, how do we know that he violates a מצוות לא תעשה? שנאמר, as the Torah says, מלאתך ודמעך לא תאחר. That the Torah says that you may not delay the gifts that must be given to those who deserve to be given first. Meaning you can't precede gifts to the Kohanim and the Leviim one before another. You cannot delay produce that you should give first. But in regards to this love, one is not liable for malkut, for lashes of beddin, if he violated this. הלכה כ"ד, הרוצה להפריש תרומה גדולה ותרומת מעשר כאחד. One who wants to separate תרומה גדולה and תרומת מעשר at the same time. How exactly does one go about doing this? מפריש אחד משלושה ושלושים ושליש. One should separate first 1 out of 33 and a third, or 3%. And the חולין is 97%. ואומר, אחד ממאה שיש כאן, הרי הוא בצד זה שהפרשתי, והרי הוא לחולין. So, you say, 1 out of 100 that is here, that is adjacent to what I separated, is hulin. So 1 out of the 3% you designate as hulin. והנשאר מזה שהפרשתי, הוא תרומה על הכל. And whatever's left out of what I separated, which is now 2%, is considered teruma gedola for the entire thing. והמעשר הנשאר מזה שהפרשתי, הוא תרומה על הכל. And and you have, and then you take 10% of the produce and you and then you take, והמעשר שראוי להיות למאה חולין, and the 10% that is to be given out of the entire 100 out of the 100 that is hulin, is next to what I separated. So essentially what you're doing is that you have 9, so for the maaser, you take 9% of hulin and 1% of the 3% that you originally took. So when we said before that you have the 3%, and then 1 out of the 3% is hulin, so that 1% is added with 9% of the total to become 10%, and that 10% is maaser rishon. וזה הנשאר יתר על התרומה ממה שהפרשתי, הרי הוא תרומת מעשר על הכל. And the 1% that I originally took, that is terumat maaser, is terumat maaser on everything. If anyone has a chance to get to look at the Rabbi Yochai Makbili edition, he has a really good illustration showing exactly how this works. Yes. So again, you have originally 100% of produce. So you take 3% out of it. 2% goes to teruma gedola. Not 10, and then you have 10% that has to go to maaser rishon. But that 10%, 9% of it is taken from the entire produce, and 1% is is taken out of the original 3 that you uh, separated it. So you do tirumat maaser, tiruma, then maaser, and then you separate 1%, which out of the original 3% that you separated as tirumat maaser. And with that, we finish Perek Shelishi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.